Did you see something? Kate asked. She turned her head, attempting to locate what James had potentially seen. James looked at the area where he thought he had seen movement, but didn't notice anything. Pointing off to the side ahead of them, James said, "Not really sure. I thought I had seen something, but I'm not seeing anything." "It may have been nothing, but let's treat it like it was something," Mim said from behind them. "Let's slow down." As the group slowed, Naylor asked, "Do you think it was your sister?" Raul looked to where James indicated. He shook his head, clearly doubtful. "I don't think it was Celine. If it was, she would have approached us. Even more so if she knew that she'd be within sight of us." "I also don't think it was Celine," James said. James had a feeling that if it was the elf, then he'd have recognized her. The fact that whatever he thought it was didn't clearly scream out the woman gave him the impression that it was something else. "If you see something, make sure to tell the group," Naylor said gruffly to everyone as he focused on his side, making sure that they weren't exposed to an unknown threat while they were searching for whatever James thought he had seen. Now that everyone was searching, James felt his blood starting to pump harder. Adrenaline was helping him to get prepared for any kind of threat. Though his body was getting into a fight or flight position, he made sure to keep his mind calm and focused. The adrenaline may be helpful, but it would become detrimental if he let his emotions run wild. There was still no indication that he had seen anything, so it was crucial to not become overly excited. "Slowly spread out," Mim said. "Make sure to stay in sight of everyone, but we need to determine if there's something out there stalking us." With Mim's order, each of them moved out several feet slowly. The ones paying the most attention in the direction James thought he had seen something were Kate, Adam, and him. The others were making sure that their area was clear. Seeing how everyone acted, James felt reassured. Due to the lack of any dangers in the past several days, there was a concern that their reaction time would be slowed. But James could see that such was not the case. Everyone behaved in the way that they should in a dangerous situation. With his breathing even, James searched for any signs of movement. "Just be a forced animal," James prayed to himself. Even if the group was reacting appropriately, it was always preferable to avoid a fight. Pulling out his daggers, he readied for any threat. The sound of metal scraping indicated that the others were taking out their weapons if they weren't already out. Naylor and Adam were primarily the ones that had their weapons out at nearly all times due to how heavy they were. There wasn't an easy way to store them without impeding the ability to pull them out at a moment's notice. This made it so that having the weapons out at all times was preferable, even if it was more work on them. "I'm glad I prefer my daggers," James thought to himself, not jealous of his companions. Time passed slowly as he strained his ears to hear any slight sound, but all he heard was the sound of those in his group stepping on leaves or roots. Instead of stepping on rocks, due to the chance of him slipping, James moved towards Kate and navigated around the obstruction. "Did I just imagine seeing something?" James thought to himself. Watching for any movement, James moved forward. He occasionally turned his head to check on where everyone else was located. It was essential to get a better view of what was in front of him. At the same time, it was important to not lose sight of the others. "The last thing I need is there to actually be something out there," and being alone. James shivered at the thought.